Today is quite a proud day. It's not very often you get the opportunity to cook a dish that is a global dish that originates from your local area. Today we're going to cook Gazpacho. So, vamos a cocinar. Let's get cooking. Or really, not let's get cooking, because there's nothing really to cook. So this dish is very, very, very healthy. On the Richter scale, it's up there on healthy, and also it's up there on taste. Beautiful blend of fresh vegetables, all grown locally here in Spain. We're going to start off with a lovely red bell pepper. And you quite simply peel, pepper off down the sides. Remember to work tidy. Always have somewhere where you can put stuff that you don't need, like seeds. Now don't be precious about cutting this up, because it's all going to go into a liquidizer, so we're looking for chunks. However, pick a nice red piece and just cut that up and put that to one side, because we're going to use that for garnish a little bit later on. So we're just going to cut the pepper up into chunks. Up next we've got green pepper. We get these nice long green peppers here in Spain, but any green pepper will do. Again, don't be precious. Cut it up, clean the seeds out. Nice chunks. Into the bowl. Again, set a little bit aside for garnish later on. We have what we call here in Spain pepino, which is a cucumber. This is a Spanish cucumber, but you can of course use English cucumbers, equally as good. I'm going to peel that. Take a little bit for garnish for later. Rough cut the cucumber into chunks and into the bowl. The reason we're going into a bowl is we're going to marinate everything off in a second when we finish cutting everything up. Onion, top and tail the onion. And you probably want half an onion in this, depending on the kind of onion you're using. This is a sweet onion. You can use other kinds of white onions or red onion if you prefer. Depending on how strong you like your onion taste, will kind of dictate how much onion you want to put into your gazpacho. Some garlic. I'm just going to use 1 clove of garlic for this. Smash the garlic up, makes it easy to peel. Off with the top. Again, rough cut, because it's all going into the blender. And then the star of the show, tomatoes. We've got some beautiful vine ripened tomatoes. We bought these a couple of days ago and we've left them out in the sun for a couple of days just to slightly extend that ripening, increase the flavour. So what we're going to do is we're going to take them off the vine. On a smaller knife. We just want to, you see the centre? You don't want that in. So we're just going to cut round and cut that centre out. Repeat on all the tomatoes. So cut your tomatoes up into quarters. So where does this dish come from? If you look at the history of gazpacho, it's quite interesting. It dates back to the 8th century when the Romans came to Spain. And they used to make a dish which was bread, water, vinegar and garlic, and it was called sopa de ajo, which means garlic soup. They used to add a little bit of vinegar in there to give it a little bit of bite, and the vinegar still remains today. It wasn't until the 16th and 17th century when Christopher Columbus sailed to the Americas, and he brought back to Europe tomatoes, green peppers and red peppers that the modern day gazpacho kind of was formed, which is the dish that we enjoy today. So you can see all the beautiful flavours that are in there, vibrant colours into this dish. And that's it in terms of content. We've got it all in there, just a couple of seasoning things to add. One of the things we are going to add is some stale bread. That just acts really as a thickening agent when we get it into the blender. Okay, salt is going in. Nice amount of salt. Some cracked black pepper. We're going to add some cumin, some ground cumin. About half a teaspoon of ground cumin. You don't want too much because it can overpower the whole dish, but it really helps to lift the flavours of the vegetables that are in there. And then some Spanish sherry vinegar. A little amount of that. If you can't get hold of sherry vinegar, you can use red wine vinegar. That will work well as well. And then, of course, the obligatory olive oil. You want quite a lot of olive oil because it will be the olive oil that will help unify all the flavours and help them bring them together. So don't be shy with your olive oil, and it is, as always, extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just mix all those flavours together, introduce them. Beautiful combination. Okay, next we're going to take some cling film or plastic wrap. Going to cover it over because this is going into the fridge. Now I would suggest minimum of 2 hours to allow it to marinate together, but you can leave it up to 24 hours if you prefer, and it will work beautifully. Okay, into the fridge for 2 hours. So this has been in the fridge now for 2 hours. All the flavours have come together. All the bread has absorbed the flavours of the tomatoes and the green peppers and the red peppers and the onion and the garlic and the sherry vinegar and of course the cumin. So we're going to go into the liquidizer very carefully. Oh, smell is divine. It's going to be fairly packed in there, but don't worry about that. Press it down. Don't leave anything out. Okay, in it is. Push it down so we can at least get the lid on. Lock down. Okay, with your blender, start off on blend, just pulsing it until everything starts to come together. Okay, now everything's come together, we can go for max blend. Here we go. It's been blending for about 3 minutes, so what we're going to do now is the veg that we saved back earlier, we're going to cut into some fine dice, which we can use for some beautiful garnish. We of course don't need it all, depending on how many portions of soup you're making. There we go. Take the lid off the blender, and this is where you need to check your seasoning, check your taste. Are you happy with that? I think this needs just a touch more salt. So we're going to add a little bit more salt and put it on one more cycle of blending. Okay, let's try it now. See what it's like with the additional salt in it. Yeah, perfect, perfect. So now you have two choices. You can either have your soup as it is now, textured, or some people like it super smooth. So I'm going to show you how to make it super smooth. We have a chinois here that we're going to pass it through. If you haven't got a chinois, don't worry, a sieve will do just as good a job. So we're going to put the soup through. I'm just going to use a ladle to encourage it to go through. So in Spain, they like to serve this ice cold. Of course, it's spent 2 hours marinated in the fridge, so it is nice and chilled, but it has been in the blender, which has slightly taken the temperature up. So if you really want it really cold, at this point, you can put it back into the fridge and let the temperature come down before you serve. We're going to serve now. So literally, soup goes into the bowl. Look at that, wow. Your garnish that you held back and diced up can go on the top, and we'll finish with a little drizzle of oil. And there you go. Taste of Andalusia, gazpacho soup. Wow, you really get that cumin hit on the back of your throat. That's so nice. It's so fresh and so refreshing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Mediterranean Culinarian.